We're reviewing the new edition of The Witches. This one's directed by Robert Zemeckis. And of course, this is based on the book. And there was that 1990 movie that starred Angelica Huston, also based on the book. But this one is a little different. Not going to do any spoilers here, but the general premise for both of them is they focus on a little boy who has to go live with his grandmother after the loss of his parents. And they wind up going on a little getaway of sorts to a hotel. While they're there, they come to realize that the Grand High Witch is holding an event, and she is concocting a plan to turn children into mice. I did a good job, right?
You did a very good job, yes. I think you cut it off at the right point.
Yeah. There's a couple little spoiler points I wouldn't mind pointing out about this one, but it's too soon, not going to do that.
It is.
Did you ever watch the 1990 movie?
I'm admitting I'm going in fresh. I have never seen the 1990, so my viewing was just based on 2020.
So I'm very curious then to know what you think. Did you like The Witches at all?
It's fun. It is campy fun. I'm not denying that in any degree. I wish it wasn't as CGI heavy. Obviously, like the way I talk in the show, it's practical effects in my horror is important, mm-hmm. And I know this is a children's horror adaptation. Like this isn't meant to be gory, grotesque stuff like that. I'm just talking about even the little things, like every little effect they do. I don't think there was any practical in there. Just thinking of the witches, how they're handled, and makeup and prosthetics and whatnot. So
yeah, probably not.
I would have liked to seen a little more. Like it just ruins some of the fantasy and the magic for me when it's all just computerized. But the campiness is there. There are some cute moments with the mice kids. There are some really fun moments with Anne Hathaway with not knowing what accent she's doing, like just absolutely going bonkers. I mean, I don't know what she's doing or what accent she's trying to nail, but it's like 17 different ones. So it's easy enough to get through, but I kind of surface value for me.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was fine. I'm sure kids will have fun with it. I don't really have that strong of a connection to that 1990 movie that everybody, I feel like most people our age grew up having seen that and having been terrified by it. For whatever reason, I never watched it as a kid, and I just watched it very, very recently as an adult. And that movie is pretty dark and bonkers. Like, I understand why that movie has the reputation it does. The transformation into a mouse it's horrifying. I mean, no wonder that movie terrified a lot of kids. But I feel like having seen that movie and then going right into this one just proves the point you made. The practical effects in that first movie, even as dated as some of them might seem right now, they work a million times better than the digital effects we see here. The one cool thing, though, that I really liked about this one was what they did with Anne Hathaway's mouth. I just really like that creepy look.
It's there.
I think that's one of the few things that actually looks seamless, integrated into the real world practical elements here.
Yeah. Also, kind of wasted Stanley Tucci. He didn't really have anything to do in this, and I was ready to this should have been the weird Stanley Tucci we were all expecting, but nope, just kind of just bland Tucci.
I was a little disappointed by him, not because it was a bad performance by any means, just because they used him so little. I did think that Octavia Spencer couldn't have been a better choice for the grandmother.
Oh, great. No, she's great. She's absolutely not. Yeah.
She can do anything with any material. She just radiates warmth and enthusiasm and just the right kind of energy for that role. And her chemistry with the young ensemble, this movie needed that big time. As for Anne Hathaway, I don't think I can truly enthusiastically commend her performance in the same way. But wow, it was fun watching her go completely out of control. I did not know what she was doing. And
you never know.
Accent for the ages. I am a piss poor judge of accents in general, but
because it's like 7.
No doubt in my mind, that was every accent imaginable.
I work in the translations industry during the day, so I hear a lot of dialects in my daily life. And I can tell you there's like 17 different ones just mixed in there. Like one point she's just going like German, another she's like Swedish. Like there's nothing. There's literally no continuity in what she's doing. And she just keeps trying things. And it's like, all right, sure, fine.
Yeah. Yeah, that was something else. But, you know, in a it takes you out of the movie way, I do enjoy watching someone like Anne Hathaway just not put any limits on a performance like that. And
I'm fine. Be ambitious. Like, let her do that. I'm okay with it. It's just not always going to work. And again, the larger ensemble and the larger film itself, it didn't really support that, unfortunately.
I actually was a little disappointed in the limited amount of ensemble witches, supporting witches around her.
They're all just fillers. It's just fillers.
Without spoiling anything, there was one role I missed in particular, and I think anyone who sees both versions will know what I'm getting at. But you know, like to a degree, I get it. You get Anne Hathaway to be the Grand High Witch. You want to put the spotlight on her, but somehow, even though I think the run times are similar, this movie felt noticeably thin to me, whereas that one did the world building a lot better.
It's just in and out in a way that's kind of, it services just Hathaway. Just like you said, it's not really building much besides, hey, let's let Hathaway do her thing. And Spencer is trying, and she's building the children's roles up. And like, again, some of the mouse stuff is fun, but a lot of it is just throwaway. The kids are just voice actors that don't really have any presence. It's not like, you know, it was just kind of expected, dated, and
I thought the main kid was pretty good. Like I was almost a little disappointed when his live action performance is cut short. I mean, that's not a spoiler. You guys know that this is what the movie is about: kids getting turned into mice. I don't want to pronounce his name wrong, but I also don't want to not give him credit. I believe it's Jahzir Bruno, and I thought he was quite good, and I would have liked to have seen more from him in the live action version of the character, even though that's not what it's for.
I'm okay with that. Yeah, I just don't think, again, he just really wasn't given much to do to that point. He just had to sit there and be sad. And that's not taking anything away from what he accomplished, but, you know, there wasn't much depth of what he had to put on screen. And then he turns into a mouse, and then he's off screen. And then you're like, okay. So all the transition you see in that character happens within a little digital mouse, and his voice gets peppy, but it's no replication.
I wish the mice looked better.
It was some Cats level bullshit. It was literally some Cats level bullshit.
You need to just like scrub through the other film just to see what those practical mice look like.
Oh, I'll watch the original.
Whatever technique they use to actually animate those. But I couldn't believe how much I really appreciated that, and how that just felt right with the tone of that film.
Yeah. Well, because the practical, and like, you can't replicate that with CGI. Even as you said, the practical that might be outdated, when you still watch these 80 horror movies, that you can tell, you know, going back to the 80s, 90s, these practical effects aren't as good and as accomplished, but it's still such a different feel to a film that just throws a bunch of animation and CGI on screen that you're missing the life and the vitality. At least having practical effects and these like cadavers and corpses, and I know I'm talking about horror, but again, relating it to the witches, Angelica Huston's practical effects in The Witch, that keeps you in the story. It doesn't matter how goofy it looks, it keeps you in the story because you're actually seeing it. The CGI, like, there's this ridiculous moment where Anne Hathaway looks in the mirror and it's her like face turning all witchy back and forth real quick, and it just looks horrible. It looks horrendous because it's that CGI flash away that doesn't really do anything to world build. Yeah,
the cat looked horrendous too. That really disappointed me.
Even the cat was CGI. But
I feel like I picked up on how much the CGI was going to put me off right at the very beginning in the supermarket scene, I believe, with the snake.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
I'm like, that snake does not look right, and that was it.
But to Edward Douglas, who we know, to his degree in the or to his comment in the comments right now, it's a kiddie movie. So it's like, as much as we can put thought into that kind of stuff, and as much as we can, like, you know, we're the older crowd, I guess, watching this going like, oh, practical effects weren't used, CGI, it was thin, but I guess it is entertaining enough for a kid's film. Yeah. So in that case, what do you rate it on the Dewey Decimal Movie scale? I'm gonna give it 2.5. I think it's just base value, straight down the middle, 2.5.
Yep, I'm stealing your rating there. I'm going 2.5. I think it's, if you have a kid in your life who wants to watch it, it's not the worst thing in the world to watch.
Absolutely not.
But I definitely think there was a lot more to mine here. It could have been better, in particular in the effects department. But it's fine. It's fine. That's it. It's fine.
But like, you want more from your movie. Like the greatest sin a freaking film can make is being forgettable, and that's The Witches.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Before we wrap this up, guess what I have to do? I got to dedicate this review to some Patreon team members, and this is an extra special group. These are my top tier guys. They've been here for a long time. Matt, I have a feeling you know every name on this list.
Probably.
Evan.
I know him.
Evan, your cheerleader. Luke.
I know Luke.
We also have Billy.
I know Billy.
And Ian. You know Ian too.
You know Ian all too well.
You know them all. All right. That's our review of The Witches.